Buongiorno, my name is Michelangelo and I'll be your server today. Welcome to the Renaissance. New, fresh and quirky ideas like humanism, which is the perfectibility of mankind, and increased focus on the individual, are being spread across Europe in vernacular languages, from ancient Greek and Roman literature through Johannes Gutenberg's printing press. Exactly, I hang up a poster with some 95 complaints and suddenly all Europeans are at each other's throats, fighting each other about which religion is best. Simply just wanted to call out the abuse of the Catholic Church and all the dumb tithes they make the commoners pay through simony. Not start wars like the German Peasants' Revolt, the Knights' Revolt, and the 80 Years' War. Jeez, it's a lot of wars. But John Calvin is so obviously wrong about the role of God. Come on. Bonjour, je m'appelle le roi Louis XIV.
Merci.
I believe since God himself gave me the right to rule France, I shouldn't care about anyone or anyone else. The Huguenots have the right to practice, except that's less powerful pour moi, and I don't stand for that. Revoked. People in the nobility not loyal to me. I think instead I replace them with my own men, not loyal to moi. They'll build a new extravagant palace to distance myself from the dumb squabbling Parisian nobles. Thanks to these smart fellows of the scientific revolution, we have finally unlocked the ability to think rationally. But as a self-proclaimed philosopher, I challenge the notion of having people help participate in government, as commoners are nothing but bumbling idiots incapable of helping run such a thing. Nay, I think that the commoners do deserve rights like freedom and religion of speech. Just not the woman. The king sucks, the nobility sucks, the clergy sucks, the first two states suck. Damn the tyranny. Let us spread these enlightened ideas of liberty and equality across France and beyond. I do not get my head chopped off for being too radical and tyrannical, and our government cannot operate efficiently due to corruption. But we'll have our best generals that go out against the monarchs of Europe like Prussia and Austria and beat them in the name of the core principles of our revolution against tyrannical monarchical rule. Long hours and little pay make our stuck-up bourgeoisie bosses richer and richer, while we break our backs for barely enough money to even buy food. Why would the government even allow for this? At the very least, the parliament has passed laws to limit the work time to 8 hours per day, and our children are required to get an education. But they need to look at our sanitation in our slums and tenements. It's booby flooding the streets and pee in the seas, and life expectancy is on the down low. I say we rebel against this widespread labor and mass production. We will be known as the Luddites and destroy the machinations that enslave us. All German people must unite under one single banner, and we'll fight under the idea of nationalism after the takeover of Napoleon, and we'll fight for liberalization and the ability to exercise our rights. Reforms have already started against the European continent. Same fights are happening in Austria and the Netherlands. This period shall be defined by nationalism and new technologies. With these new techs, the strongest empires shall colonize the weakest countries and exploit them because they aren't as cool and el richo. Now, well, looky there, massive global conflict in which we use new weapons and technologies, finding easier ways to unalive someone. These conflicts will cause empires to break down, like the Austro-Hungarian Empire dissolving into the Baltic states and the Ottoman Empire finally fizzling out after the Crimean War and the Eastern Question, and the Russian Tsardom will dissolve into a communist state. Real L for Nicky II. Then the Second World War will erupt, and while the First World War began due to nationalism, alliances, and imperialism, this one is beginning because of resentment against the Treaty of Versailles. Golly, it's cold. It's rough living life under the threat of nuclear war, and my country is split in two. And Berlin is separated by a wall meant to keep the poor and unfortunate people trapped in the communist state. The United States has provided economic aid to them with the help of the Berlin airlifts, but they couldn't receive economic aid through the Truman Plan after being decimated by the carnage of World War II, being held back by communism. My heart bleeds for those ruled by the cruelty of the Soviets, and people fought to protect their homes from tyranny but continue to be ruled in fear by oppression.